What is going on, people? Welcome to the On a Level podcast, episode 42. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about a big piece of news within the scene, within the culture. Something that may have surprised some. It surprised me, to be honest. And I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about it in the most respectful way I possibly can. And hopefully I've done my research right. Well, I have done my research right, so I just hope now that I present the facts correctly. I want to first off state by saying I am a Masi Rooc fan in terms of his music. Seemed like a really cool dude whenever I spoke to him. And I do not know too much about Big Kash. I know that he makes music as well. I've not heard anything of his. I understand that he did some time and come out not too long ago, whenever it was. But yeah, I'm more familiar with Masi Rooc as a person than I am Big Kash, and that doesn't and so I'm going to still obviously sit neutral in this whole situation. I don't have a reason to side with one or the other. I'll be honest, and I'll say this now, I don't know what this is exactly about, and I don't know if anyone does. Obviously there's a lot of people on the internet in comment sections and DMs that are going to be saying, well, I know this and I know that, and I'm just sticking to what I can physically research myself, and what I have seen with my own eyes, on what I can personally read, on what I can personally visually see, just because I've heard things siding with one person or the other, or you know. And so I want to go about this in the right way. I hope I don't offend no one. I hope I don't annoy people. But I had a bunch of people asking me to talk about this, and I was a little bit skeptical. And then people are like, we just want to understand what it is and maybe how this situation would have unfolded. And so I guess I'm going to be one of the few people that are willing to talk about this. I understand that No Case None did a video talking about this briefly. I know there's obviously, you know, when you get the Australian drill news pages when they, you know, put their compilations together. I know they've done it, but I don't think anyone's like sat down and had a proper talk about it with their opinion attached to it. And I will get into my opinion at the end. I'm going to try and be factual at first, then we'll get into it. And I've done a long intro. You're probably just waiting for me to get into it, so let's do it. I don't know how long this is going to go on for, so if we don't go on for forever, then I'll ask for some questions on Instagram, so we'll do like a little Q&A afterwards to fill up the time a bit. But yeah, Masi Rooc is arrested for the attempted assassination of Big Kash. Attempted assassination? I always thought it was attempted murder, but yeah, attempted assassination of Big Kash. That's crazy. Like, yo, like, I don't think anyone, I don't know, I didn't expect that. I was aware that Big Kash was talking a lot of, talking about a lot of people. I know that he's this like Hooligan Hefts, RB from Enemy, Masi Rooc. Like, I know that Big Kash has been very vocal about how he feels about certain people, and I may have seen the odd video here or there, but I never really sat down and like researched into why. Obviously, you know, when you get your suggested videos on YouTube or whatever, or even Instagram, and it will be Big Kash talking about such and such, but I never really sat through any of them and listened to them. I might peek it for like 10-15 seconds and then keep it moving, to be fair. So I don't know too much about Big Kash as a person. To my understanding, this is all over the words that were said on Instagram. So I don't know where it started. I don't know. Big Kash just obviously going at a lot of people. Masi Rooc happens to be one of them. Masi Rooc took that personally. It developed from there and got to where we are now. That's my understanding of it, but I don't know the specifics of what it's over. And the only reason I say that is because I'm reading lots of different things and people are telling me lots of different reasons of what it's over. So I don't exactly know what to believe, and that's why I'm going to leave that open. I mean, where else do we start with this? I mean, this is such an open thing. I mean, I questioned whether this was even real news in the first place. Like, when I got a comment saying, yo, Masi Rooc's just been arrested, I'm like, what for? And they're like, for shooting Big Kash. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I thought it was fake news. And then more and more people started commenting it, more and more people sent DMs and things like that. And I was like, yo, this is real. And then people started sending the videos. I believe it was ABC News, I could be wrong, but whoever filmed it, or got the footage, was sharing it. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. They showed the video of him getting picked up and then arriving at the facilities and having to get out the back. Your Fed cars are mad different to ours. I don't know, maybe that's because it was your unit, because I believe he had to get picked up by a certain unit because it's a firearms case, so obviously he goes down as a dangerous person. Now, Masi Rooc just dropped Stick a Move. He just dropped that. And Stick a Move I enjoyed. I enjoyed it as a track. I said in that reaction that I don't think it's his best, but it's still a good track, which shows the level of quality I believe Masi Rooc has. You know, I rate him as an artist. I do. I really do rate him as an artist. And as well as having that potential, he also has that quality now, in my opinion. I did question whether he was carried by features or not, and listening back, he is a little bit, but he definitely holds his own around some of these other artists that are also on the up and coming. I mean, the only semi-established one he's around is Hooligan Hefs. But down to the other artists he's collab with, you know, they're all young bucks trying to do their thing, man. I say young bucks, these are all people who are all older than me, but there's no rules. Shout out Spets Gonzalez. So, in an article, it was written, the 29-year-old was charged with shooting with intent to murder, discharge firearm with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, GBH, and not disclosing the identity of a driver or passenger. I believe that disclosing the identity of driver or passenger, obviously they said who was driving or who was in the passenger seat with you, and he's just said no comment or whatever, so obviously he gets charged with that. Mr. Lavulo, which is Big Kash. Big Kash suffered gunshot wounds to his forearm and elbow while his female passenger was uninjured. The female passenger is believed to be his girlfriend. Kash is still sporting a cast after undergoing surgery following the shooting. So he had to have surgery to remove the shrapnel in his arm. I believe he talked about it and he said something along the lines of the metal was clogging up like his blood flow in his arm or something, so that's why it had to happen. Now, attempted murder or intent to murder or attempted assassination, whatever the exact charge is, like, that's what, 20 years, 25 years at least. And I mean, GBH is still a solid body of years in itself. It depends on what section of GBH you have, because there's GBH with intent, there's like different sectors of it, but even then that's still another few years as well. So I mean, no matter what charge he gets given, it's fucked. And I don't think this is one of them cases that he can beat. This definitely looks like Rook's going down for this. And it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation, and it's also frustrating as a fan of Masi Rooc. It's frustrating. Oh man, let me try to stick to the facts first before I get into too many opinions. And I will get into it. I will get into why it's frustrating for me. But yeah, Big Kash said this off on Instagram afterwards. I'll play the clip now, because I want to talk about one or two things that he said. So yeah, this clip here.
This fucking idiot, you've lost on all levels, mate. First, this dickhead doesn't want to fucking meet up and just have a simple crack, and this is where it led to. Then they shit go me when I'm with my missus. He comes with 10 other poofters. 10 other fucking poofters in their own cars. They didn't even bother coming in fucking hoggies. You got yourself done, you fucking idiot. Talking all that fucking shit. Glorifying your fucking little jail shit. Yeah, go do 20, you fucking dumb cunt. Fucking idiot. These dickheads going all over the line. You go fucking telling everyone you've done it. Doko Outcast, a fucking poofter, goes on live and tells everyone that you've done it. You fucking dumb, illiterate, stupid, like just fucking proper coconuts. Fuck Fucking proper coconuts. Now watch this fucking cunt rat on his whole team. Fucking hello the cat. This fucking dumb cunt, he finished himself. I didn't even have to do anything. I went at him. The pussy didn't want to meet up, and then this is what fucking happens. The dumb cunt goes around like a fucking crazy clown in a circus. Ends up getting himself done. Old mate. Who's real? Not you, dumb cunt. Hello the cat. If you're a rookie, you're a rookie. Alright, dumb cunt. You just move like rookies. That's why you fucking got done. Now stop blaming everyone else for your sloppiness, you fucking cocksucker. This is the last time I want to talk about it. You fucking clown.
Glorifying your jail shit, go and do 20 years. Like, this is a big talking point in my opinion. And for anyone who listens to an artist that glorifies or romanticizes the life of what some people live, me, and I'm only speaking on behalf of me, and I understand that I'm different from everybody else. I'm yet to know someone who's really knee deep in the mud and talks about it just in general. Like, the few people who I know that are knee deep in the mud don't like talking about it. Like, really don't like talking about it. Like, very anti about it. The people who I personally know who talk the most aren't really about shit. And if they are, they're reckless about it. Kash saying there, like, go and tell everyone you did it. Like, this leads to a discussion now of let's talk about the lyrics in that sticker move. Let's talk about the lyrics in that track actually. 1 minute, because let me bring them up. I should have had this prepared already, to be perfectly honest with you. Lyrics, Masi Rooc. Masi Rooc. I've heard people say Masi Rooc. I'm saying Masi Rooc. No rules. Alright, boom. There is a highlight. There is a lyric that I want to bring up actually. And I should have had this up already. I apologize. Yeah, this one here. At the time of reacting, I was struggling understanding what Masi Rooc was saying, to be honest. I said that. There was a few lines in there that I was just like, yo, I don't get it. And it was around this time as well. And maybe if I did hear this, I would have thought something. I don't think I would have thought, oh, this is about Big Cash. Because I don't know the situation fucking happened. But I may have thought like, yo, that's definitely aimed at someone in specific. He got put in a choker. Old mate, he can't breathe. My team, they're responsible. I call them bluffers. We see them in person. We press them, and there was no response at all. Instagram drillers, how do we deal with them? Send a message until they've had enough. It's not a rap battle. What's it look like? Take your fool. We can never go to war. Never. Old mate, you can't breathe. My team responsible. Like, that line doesn't sound great to the court. It doesn't. Now, a lyric like that can seem generic, you know? A lyric like that can... We hear that all the time in the music nowadays. Whether it be drill or trap or just the street music, the hood rap. We're hearing lyrics like that dropped like it's nothing. But the fact that you're now in custody and the fact that you're going to go on trial, that evidence doesn't necessarily help. Now, just to be clear, I'm not pointing out nothing that's hidden. This is public knowledge. This is what you put out as an artist. And it now makes you think. So let's take another group. They say something about dipping my man down in a 4-door skirt at this park. Then they get arrested. And lo and behold, that lyric could have been aimed at anyone, but now they can use that as evidence. I don't know. Like, I can't say if it's directly about Big Cash for certain. Plenty of people says it is. Some people says it's not. I don't know. I can't give you that answer. I don't know if that's specifically talking about this situation or whether it's just that generic bar that's thrown in there. I mean, they could be seen like generic bars, and in hindsight, it's easy to say, yeah, it's definitely about him. But if Masi Rooc wasn't arrested, you wouldn't know that for certain. It's not like people were commenting on that video saying, yo, this is definitely about Big Cash. You know what I'm saying? Like, now people are commenting it now because we've got the power of hindsight. We're able to look back and go, yeah, of course that's what it meant. We don't know that for sure. I'll let you lot debate whether that is or isn't. I can't answer that. There's been rumors, and I say rumors because I don't believe it's been physically proven, that Rooc used his own car when rolling by. This is the first time I'm going to give my opinion. If, and only if, you rolled by in your own car, that's just fucking stupid. It just is. And you don't need me to tell you that. Now, I don't know how true that is, so I don't want to speak on this for too long, but let's just say this. If you used your own car, does that not make you believe that maybe this wasn't a planned move? Like, was something said on Instagram, and maybe my man, I don't know, maybe he had something to drink, maybe he had something to smoke, and just felt mad angry, and thought, fuck it, I can't have this, no, I'm not taking it, and just went? Or was this it doesn't, if that is true, that doesn't lead me to believe that this is a planned attack. Does that make sense? Because surely if you plan something, you wouldn't, surely you wouldn't. Surely. That's a rookie move, and I don't mean to mock it, because I know people have been mocking it, based on Masi Rooc's lyric in Who's Real. Because now he's getting memed for that shit. He's getting memed for that lyric. If you're a rookie, you're a rookie. Right. Now, I don't know whether that's true. Let's say he didn't. You've been caught for this shit, and it doesn't seem like he's denying it. It seems like he's gone online, talked about claiming it's him, and now he's taking the rap for it. And we know that Rooc wasn't on his own when this happened. Now, I don't know who's with him. I don't know if it was other artists. I don't know if it was people from his team specifically. I have no idea. But regardless now, it makes you wonder who else is going to get caught up in this game. Who else is going to get caught up with these charges? Now, assuming Rook's the type of person to not snitch, he's going to have to hold a lot of years for that shit. Like, Rook's career is over. Rook's life, in some people's eyes, may be over. And that's sad. Because we're talking about one of the most exciting artists to come out of Australia, in my opinion. That I genuinely was excited to see what Masi Rooc's going to do. And then this happens. Like, let me get into my second opinion, and this is probably the biggest one for me. And I'm going to try and stay calm. But deep down, it does piss me off. And it's not about me. Let me just make that very clear. This is not about me. But how I naturally feel, and I can't hide it, it pisses me off a bit. I apologize for bringing this up, but I feel like it's a very relevant story to tell right now. Somebody like YP, okay, and 1-4 in general, they did whatever they did and have been charged with for what they did. But they did that before the music. Like, they've done what they've done and then started doing music, or in and around that time, and music took off afterwards. You know what I mean? They didn't realize music was an option till afterwards. And once the music was an option, they were like, right, focus on the music, and unfortunately couldn't shake that case from before. This happened, I believe, on the 8th of August this year. 1 month ago. Rooc's been making noise now for a solid minute. Like, the Who's Real track dropped last year. I'm sure Masi Rooc went into my hot prospects list for 2019. Going into 2020. Rooc's been making noise for a solid fucking minute now. Given their feature tracks of other artists, but still, his name very relevant amongst that. So what really annoys me about this situation, and this kind of falls in hand of why I don't understand why he did what he did, because that becomes very important in why I feel this way. But Rooc had the music as an option. If I'm not mistaken, he's been in interviews talking about focusing on the music. So if you're focused on the music, what the fuck drew you out to do this? Get where I'm coming from? That's why it frustrates me. Some people may have done dirt before their music career took off. Now the music's a thing. They're trying to just focus on the music. But unfortunately, they're being held back by something previous. That isn't a new story. Whether it's Australia, whether it's the UK, whether it's America, whatever scene it is, we've seen this story time and time again. Now, I'm assuming Rooc is smart enough to recognize that. I thought he was someone that was a lot more calculated than how this story seems to be. Because this just seems sloppy. This seems rash. This doesn't add up to the person who I thought Masi Rooc was. Based on the person who I speak to and the person who I see in long form content like interviews and podcasts. People often talked about how intelligent he is and, you know. But he's not moved like that intelligent character we assumed him to be. Now again, a big part of that is, why did you do what you did? Because if you're really rolling by trying to shoot my man because of some words said on Instagram, boy, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a calculated character to me. Now, according to Big Kash, he offered him out for a straightener. He said, like, come on, one-on-one, let's have it out. Apparently, Masi Rooc declined. I don't know how true that is because that's obviously only said in the words of Big Kash. If that was there on the table, again, easy to say in hindsight. It'd probably take that all day long now. Win, draw, or lose. Like, and so it frustrates me because Rooc had opportunity. He could have so easily just been like, fuck what you say. I'ma do my thing. I'ma do my music. But he got drawn out. Now, obviously, there has to be more to this than we know about. There has to be. And I know this is a weird thing to want, but I hope this was over serious shit. Now, I know that sounds like mad, but like, I would rather this be over something that has real reason for him to go and do that. And I hope it wasn't just Instagram beef. Because if you've thrown away your career for Instagram beef, that is fucking stupid. It has to be. Like, come on. You're smarter than that. Your team is smarter than that. Surely. You have had so much opportunity at your fingertips. I talked about the great people you have around you. And so I really struggle to see how you've let the street life take over that. I don't know. Is Masi Rooc someone who just can't leave the road behind? Is he someone who just doesn't mind being in prison? Like, I don't know him personally enough to know questions like that, but I do ask them to myself. I do ask those questions because I'm struggling to understand why you would go and do this. Let's say he did this and actually shot Big Kash, like proper got my man, and my man was like, I see you, or thankfully not dead. That's still a dumb fucking thing to do. Let's say he got away with this. Let's say he's done this, I've known, and I got the chance to speak to him. I'd say that's dumb fucking shit. Like, really, bro? Like, I don't know, man. I think I'm just frustrated, and obviously I don't know all the facts and I don't know all the information. All I do know is that my man's in custody now. He refused bail. And I know that he's now just waiting to see what happens. As for Big Kash, could you argue that this is a win in his books? Like, yeah, he suffered a couple gunshot wounds. Luckily, it was only his arm. Luckily, it wasn't his torso. Luckily, it wasn't his neck. Luckily, it weren't his face. Suffered a couple gunshot wounds. He's a big boy. I'm sure he'll be alright. He seems like a big guy. And now, because of all of this media attention, I wonder if he's going to try and use that to leverage his own career. Whether that be music, whether that just be his social media presence in general. As I said, I've not really sat down and gone through a lot of these clips that people seem to repost. I'm not normally into the drama like that. But to be honest, now I'm going to be a person. If Big Kash now pops up in my timeline or pops up on a suggested feed, I'm more likely to go and click and see what he's saying. And I'm sure that's going to be a case for a lot of other people. Some people in comments or even speaking to me saying they don't know who Big Kash is. I was aware of him, but I don't know him. Never spoken to him. So again, I hold a very neutral opinion of him. I don't dislike him. I don't like it. I have no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know him like that. So obviously, keep that in mind when I'm talking about this whole situation in general. But just assuming, obviously, I hear that he's an artist. Is he gonna bounce off of this? I don't know what kind of numbers he does on his music. To be fair, I don't know if he's in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions. I don't know. I would assume not the millions, only because I don't think I've ever had too many people ever ask for me to react to him. So I don't know too much, and I guess over the next few days, over the next couple weeks, I'll probably end up getting accustomed to who he is. This is a sad situation because regardless, being a fan of Masi Rooc, not knowing too much about Big Kash, I don't mean to sound like the pacifist, but I'd rather of them have fucking swung it out, or them just like, why didn't you just like, I don't know. I know some people aren't about internet beef, but apparently it has to be about internet beef. What else is this over? If it's about internet beef, fucking diss track each other. Both leverage your platforms from that. Like, I don't know, man. But obviously, if you are a real hood man, you don't want to hear diss tracks. You want to go and clap man in the face. But if you're a real hood man, you wouldn't get drawn out over Instagram beef. And so can you see where that loophole starts to develop in my mind? I know people who may be on Big Kash's side are going to sit here and go, yeah, Rook's just moving sloppy. He ain't really about it. He's an idiot, etc., etc. I know that other people on Masi Rooc's side are saying things along the lines of, oh, Big Kash is a snitch. Big Kash is an idiot, whatever, whatever. I don't know. I'm only trying to speak from the facts. And based on those facts and the things that I do know, that's where I've given my opinion. I've not shared anything that isn't not public knowledge. And I've only speculated on one or two things. But yeah, I mean, you man can all have a debate about anything further in the comment section below. I don't know what else to really address from that situation. It is what it is for now. I don't know what else to say about it, honestly, people. So yeah, we're gonna get into a little Q&A. I just need a 5-minute break, so I'll be back. 3, 2, 1. Boom, we're back. All right, so we're gonna go for a little Q&A section. Just answer a few questions really, and then fill up the rest of the podcast time like that. So I feel like I'm doing a fortnightly report right now, reading questions. So yeah, going through this. Is COVID-19 the only time you've been locked down? For me personally, yes. I see people memeing that now. That is like becoming almost a meme. Like the start of the video, obviously I play my Skinny Legend track as a little promo, whatever. And where you're hearing the first 3 lines of the song over and over again, everyone's getting used to it now. Is COVID-19 the first time it ever been locked down? Everyone's getting used to that now. Yeah, a lot of people are asking for me to talk about the situation I've already spoken about. Who's your favorite Aussie artist? It's still Alex Jones. It is still Alex Jones. But if we're talking about artists that are currently active, who have been active this year, I'm going to go with Nerve. Or I am going to say 1-4. And I know that they've only done 1 or 2 tracks as a group. But as in, like, if we count the JM's SVNO track, and if we count the Capulet Spenny track, like, if we count those as well, probably 1-4 up there. I can't lie, they've absolutely fucking smashed it this year. Absolutely smashed it. Any more podcasts with Oz artists coming up soon? Yeah, there's always things in the pipeline. Always things in the pipeline. I'm always hitting up artists to do things. If you've suggested an artist, there's a high chance I've already hit them up to do it. Some people say yes. Some people say no, not right now. But when I drop us a project in the future, then yes, near like as a promo run. And some people just are so famous they just outright air me. But you know, it is what it is. We're about. Yeah, no, there's always plans. And I always like to, you know me, I like to interview people who aren't just the artists I have, videographers, managers, producers. You know me, I like to dip my toes in other waters and just speak to interesting people, as people who especially haven't had an interview or a podcast chat before. Because I like taking in long form content. I love like planning a lesson and having a podcast on, or while I'm walking somewhere, or playing Football Manager and just having something on in the back. I love that long form content, and I like to learn about people. So when I want to hear something from someone like Cheeky, and obviously Cheeky being a new artist hasn't had no interviews or nothing like that, I'm like, yes, that's why I want Cheeky on the podcast, because I want to ask some of the questions that I want to learn about. Even down to basic things such as, where does the name Cheeky come from? Like, you know what I mean? So there's things like that where I want to know myself. So it's like, right, because we're in the early stages of the media content in Australia, well, you've got to be the person to go and do it. And it's why I'm encouraging podcasts. It's why I'm encouraging interview platforms. It's why I'm encouraging these different outlets to cover things. Because we don't have enough of that for the Australian scene, in my opinion. And I feel like the scene is big enough to do so. I definitely think so. And I know some people don't like that, and they don't like podcast episodes like this where things are talked about. But I would like to have people who actually love the culture cover it. I would rather hear someone like 24 Karat Kev, or a No Case None, or somebody like that to cover the news, rather than the mainstream media outlets who don't understand the culture, who don't understand our music, that don't respect or appreciate the culture. You understand? So I'd rather someone from the culture be reporting on that. And so I feel like it's important to have chats like this. I feel like it's important to have people like the people I named, because I believe they contribute to a scene. I believe they add. And you don't necessarily have to agree with them. There's going to be people who agree with them, people who don't. But everyone should find their voice within their scene and listen and use that sometimes. You know? Doesn't mean that they have to be always right gospel word. But I feel like it can always be helpful. For example, when I cover UK, when I want to hear something about UK music, I like listening to Chucky Online on the Halfcast podcast with Poet. Great podcast, by the way. Superb job that Chucky's been doing. I've been following them for the last like 3-4 years now. They've been absolutely smashing it over on that platform. And I like it because the conversations they have on over there help me understand things, help me gain perspective on certain situations. And sometimes they give their opinion and I develop my own one based on the information they were able to give. You understand? Like, just because they said it on, I don't have to always agree with them. Even though it's one of my favorite podcasts, it doesn't mean I have to always it doesn't mean they're always right, in my opinion. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just important to have conversations because it helps you understand things more. It's what helps you to develop your own opinion is when you understand things. So, yeah, that's where we ended up getting to from that question. How do you get past the constant doubts and anxiety that comes with making music? When it comes to music, I don't necessarily have that anxiety or that doubt. When it comes to music, I'm always doing music because I want to make music. That's never a thing, but I do get that, if we're having an open conversation, when it comes to creating content like this. I do. Sometimes I do have days where I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. Or I have days where I'm like, I'm not in the mood to react to anything. That happens. And it used to happen more than it does now. Especially at one point when I was doing reactions, there was a stage where there was a lot of hate on like every video. Like systematic hate. Just, it seemed for no reason. But stuck with just the overwhelming amount of positivity for the love and appreciation of the people who were supporting, and it just overshadowed it to the point where it just seemed to have died out. And so yeah, I understand I get things wrong sometimes, and that causes a lot of people to get angry. Sometimes I get something wrong and it's just, you could see that it was just a silly mispronunciation or something, or you know what I meant and I just got it wrong. Like, sometimes we can laugh at it, you know. But how do I get over that? By being reminded that there's people who fucking rely on my content. The same way I like relying on other podcasts to help me understand situations. I understand that people now are becoming semi-reliant on my opinion, which I like and I don't like. I like that because I thank people for respecting my words and respecting what I think. But it's equally as frustrating because sometimes I don't want to be that guy. Sometimes I want to sit back and just listen to others rather than be that person talking myself. But ultimately, I know my heart's in the right place and I know I've got the right intention behind everything. And so I'm comfy with being able to have these type of discussions, to be able to make certain videos, because I know that I have the best intentions behind what I'm doing. So even if I get it wrong, it's me just learning. It's just another thing to learn, so I don't mind that. Why don't you open your DMs? Because I'm terrible for keeping up with my DMs. I am fucking awful. I spend a lot of my time keeping up with the business side of my DMs. So when it comes to things like collaborations, podcast episodes, things of that nature, I spend so much time trying to keep up with that side of things that in terms of the fans, I don't make enough time for you, man. And that's the honest truth. The other bit that I've talked about on Instagram lives before is people always say like, you haven't opened my DM, or you asked for this and you didn't even then respond. I'm also bad for that. I've got to the point where I'm not a social media man anyway. If you see me post on social media, 9 times out of 10, I'm posting because I feel like I need to just keep up with an active social media page more than me actually wanting to post it. More time than not, I don't actually want to post. It's me going, I ain't posted in a while, let me do it. And not from a case of, I ain't posted in a while, I need to do it myself. It's just like, yo, you've got to play the game a little bit. You've got to, you know, keep an active page. And it's my only form of social media. I cut out Snapchat, I cut out Twitter, I cut out, you know, everything else to just focus on the one page. So in theory, I should be able to keep up with it, but it's overwhelming when you always see 99 plus messages and requests. It gets overwhelming, and it's difficult because you don't remember everyone's name. When you're seeing that many people, it's difficult to remember what you were talking about. And then out of those 99 messages, as an example, or 100 messages, when 80 of them are requests for videos, which is fine, by the way, I understand it. You have every right to request a video or to let me know when a new artist has popped through, or when a new song is dropped by an artist who I've already covered. Like, you know I love Husky, so Husky drops a track, you're like, yo, Husky just dropped. Like, thank you, I appreciate when you let me know. But when that floods my DMs, it then washes out all of the ones who are just asking questions or want a link to something, etc., you know, or just wanted a normal conversation, or just messages of love, like just just wanted to let you know, Chaz, love your content, etc., like, and I really do appreciate them, but I'm just so bad with keeping up with social media. I'm bad with keeping up my DMs. I tried to do this thing where I'd set aside like half an hour each day to do it, but it just becomes like that's something I get more anxiety opening my DMs than I do making music. Putting out music is second nature to man, but answering my DMs, yeah, sometimes it's just a bit too much, people. Sometimes when you've gone through a bad day, or when you've had a bit of a madness happen in your day, a bit of drama, the last thing you want to be doing is explaining to people why you haven't reacted to their boy who's done a SoundCloud freestyle with 10 views, and you're trying to explain to them why you haven't done a reaction to them. Yeah. It can be a lot sometimes, and it's something that I'm continuing to work on, because it's something that I should never overvalue. I'm not too famous to answer my DMs. That's not the case. I should be able to make time. So yeah, I need to get better at that. I do need to work on that still, 100%. What else we got? It's a lot of these questions. You know, when you do the question thing and you scroll through, a lot of it is, what's your thoughts on the Masi Rooc situation? Top 5 underrated Oz rap artists. Oh, I wish I prepared for this, because that would have been good. Who's underrated at the moment? CG Fez. Wow. CG Fez is fucking smashing it right now, and I hope he gets more attention going forward. Scrub, who I've argued is one of the most underrated artists in Australia, period. Shout out Mesk. Someone sent a thing of Mesk today, and I was like, yo, Mesk, I forgot about Mesk for a moment. Still, I don't know if he's still dropping music, but he was part of Syntax Junkies. You don't know your shit, learn. I was covering a lot of Syntax Junkies when I started the Aussie reactions, actually. So shout out Mesk. I'm going to throw Mesk in there. I need to speak to my man. I should DM him. Who else have I really enjoyed? Amu the MC. I know he has a bit of noise, but I want him to really, yeah, I like the look of where my man's going, so keep doing your thing. And who else am I gonna point out? I don't know, man. There's loads. Like, this ain't even my top 5. I'm just naming 5, by the way. We've done what, 4 so far. Who's my last one gonna be? Fuck it, I'm gonna go with Lady P. She's a dope artist, man. She can sing, she can rap. Yeah, man. She seems like a cool character as well. So Lady P, shout out Lady P. That's going to be my, not necessarily my top 5 underrated Aussie artists, but 5 of them that pop to mind straight away that I've seen either doing their thing on Instagram or, yeah, man. Just doing their thing. Any collabs coming soon? If we're talking about podcast, yes. If we're talking about music, yes. When people start answering their DMs, wink, wink. And is there anything else I can collab on? There is. When I can get a certain someone to arrive at this house, a certain video series may return. Right. If you know, you know. If you come to Brizzy, will you be... What is that? If you come to Brizzy, will you be visiting our hoods like good no more? You know what? If I come over to Australia, I do want to visit the real side of like town. You know, you understand? Like if I go to Sydney, for example, it's easy for me to go visit East Sydney and go see Sydney Harbour and all of that. Like, yeah, I want to do that, but I also want to see what Sydney's really like. Now, I may sound like a madman asking to go West Sydney, but yeah, I feel like I need to have the right people. But I want to go and visit where it's really at. You understand? Like, I don't want to just be a tourist. Like, I want to know what's going on. And that doesn't mean like, oh yeah, you're just going to be walking around fucking like West Sydney by yourself. But, you know, I want to go and visit the people who are there, man. I want to go and, like, how long's a journey from like West Sydney to East Sydney? How long's that of a journey? Obviously, I know it depends how deep you are on either side, but like as a rough estimate. But yeah, I definitely want to visit some of the tougher parts as well. I need the right people to go with, obviously, people who I trust. But yeah, definitely don't want to just be a tourist over in Australia, man. I want to know what it's really saying. Somebody just said, "What's doing, lad?" I'm good. I'm good. It's been better, but I can't complain. When are you and such and such making a track? When such and such answers their DMs. That's when that will happen. Which 5 collabs would you want to see happen from the Oz scene, Oz and international? I made a video on that, or Oz to UK at the very least. I made 2 videos on that recently, so feel free to find them. If I'm really good, I'll link them, but I probably won't. So comment, ask for it, and then I'll be able to send the link. Or somebody else might even reply and send the link themselves. Right, that's going to do for now. There are more questions, but I think that's going to be done for now. I just wanted a few extra questions just to fill up the time on this podcast so it doesn't feel too short. Yeah, just to be very clear on the whole situation I talked about for the first 2/3 of this podcast. I hope I went about it in the right way. I hope I went about it in a respectful way. Even if I did share my opinion and may have got a bit annoyed about certain things, but yeah, I hope I went about it in the right way. Let me know what you think about just everything going on. And also, let me know about some of your underrated artists that you're really liking at the moment. Feel free to comment that down below. I'd appreciate hearing your suggestions as well. But yeah, appreciate you, man, for just supporting the podcast. Appreciate everybody supporting on the Patreon. People have been a massive help over there. People have been really cool. It's been nice messaging people on like Patreon. So going back to the DM conversation, sometimes I spend my time replying to the Patreon's DMs before anybody else's. I don't want it to be a you have to pay to get an answer from Chazza, but obviously it would be weird if I answered everybody else and not them. Like, yeah, I'm just, so if you I'm an arsehole, aren't I? I'm an absolute dickhead. But yeah, I appreciate all the support, people. Honestly, the love we've got over here in the community we've built and we continue to build is fucking just insane. So yeah, thank you for all the support. Thank you for everything that you, man, have done for me. And yeah, appreciate you, man, for watching this podcast episode. If you did, type Liddy titties. You're welcome.